Welcome guys, welcome to the channel. Today's topic is understanding higher order function, things like map, compact map, filter, reduce. And to do that, the way we're going to do it is we're just going to create our own custom functions, and towards the end of this lesson there's a challenge for you to see if you really understand. It's one thing to watch a tutorial and feel good about it. It's another thing to watch it and do some of the lessons. So let's see if you understand it by creating your own functions in the end. So just a brief rundown. Higher order functions are functions that take other functions as parameters. And if you look at this first one here, that map, you may be familiar with these, but really in using Swift, these are really heavyweight functions that you're going to have to know if you're serious about coding in Swift, and actually just in general, because general programming languages use these. But that map, compact map, filter, and reduce, let's get into it. As quick disclaimer, I'm not the best YouTuber. I'm actually just getting started with videos, so if some of the transitions are kind of snappy, I apologize. So here we're going to create our custom map, and we need to have a generic transformation that we're going to use. And we can name this anything we want, but just following the naming that has been used in the existing functions already, we'll go like this. Alright, so here we have parameter that has a closure, the parameter of the closure being an element, and an element, every array is really this. Every array is really that. It won't work here, but that is what every array contains. Generic element. And this is going to return an array of our transformations, and we can start the block. So first thing first, we need a temporary container, and sometimes I like writing an array like this. It's going to be an array of our transformations. We started off like that, and that is the same thing as this. But when I was just learning about generics, I forced myself to write it out like this so I can see that, hey, an array is really just a container of a generic type. Alright, so we have that. Now let's do a for each. And if you're wondering, hey, how can you call a for each? I thought a for each was after the dot syntax. Remember that we are in array, so we get all of the functions that array already has, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second. Let me get Xcode to stop yelling at me. Let's see, element in, and so if we go here with append, append is normally just to go here. Let's make an array really quick, and let's see, then you would do my array and then append. You'll put something in there, right? You pretty much get all of these methods inside of our extension because we are dealing with the array type. So not to get off topic, let's move on. So in our for each, we are saying, let's get our results. Let's append the first parameter of our function, and we're going to pass in element. And then here we're just going to return our results. So let's test it out. Let's say let to say test array that our custom map, and look at the type. See, and it's the same thing you see with the regular map, with the exception that it has the throw keyword there. But so int is what? Int is this element here, right? And it's going to perform some operation on it, and it's going to give us this. Alright, so you see how that generic that is in the array turns into that. So let's go ahead and complete this. And if you guys have any questions about the way I'm doing it, I'm using the trailing closure syntax here. Just, say something in the comments and I'll be sure to explain. So we're going to say our number, and we're going to say return our number plus 1. I'll put in there, that would help. And so this is going to return 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. And what's good about making custom implementations like this is because you can really just add whatever feature that you want in it. You can say, in our debug area, we could say turning so let's put that, let's do that. Alright, down at the bottom. Awesome. Let's move on. This one here is so similar, so very similar. Let's just do an extension array, and we're going to say our custom compact map, and again it takes a transformation. And to really understand this, you have to understand about optionals. So let's have an element that gives us a transformation, but it's going to be an optional, and this of course is going to give us, literally that is the only difference in between this function and this up here. So really this question mark making it an optional is the only difference in between the two. So I could go here. I'm going to do this here. Let's just go back to the regular transform for a second. Let's do that. Initialize it. Let's do it for each. And we're going to say element in. Now we're going to say if let non-nil equals transform element, which is our parameter. Open that up. Now we're going to say results dot append our non-nil, and then we're going to return our results. And again, just adding some custom implementation. So it's literally not the same thing. Just added the custom implementation where we print out ignoring nil every time we come across a nil. Down here, you see we ignored 2 nils, right? Which was this and this. and the array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. Now, as for the filter function, so just to let you know, this type is going to be different from these types up here. So for the first two, we had what? We had an element, a generic type, that gave us some transformed type, which then ultimately gave us an array of that transformed type. Down here, what do you think would be? And I want you to think about it and actually pause the video just to think about it. I want to give you an answer, but alright, so this is going to be, excuse me, we're going to take our element, so it's the same parameter, but it's just going to give us a bool, which will then give us our array of transformations. So let's go with func. Our filter reduces next. We're going to say is included. This is going to be a bool. And I did it again. An element that gives us a bool. And we're going to close that. And all of that gives us. So we're not transforming anything. That's why, and I said transformation earlier, we're not transforming anything in this. We are just returning the same elements, list of elements that meet this criteria here. Okay. And let's say, again, we need a temporary container. And then we're going to do for each that we're provided, since we're in the extension of array, element n. Now we're going to say if is included, element. What is going on here? I'll fill the element up. I'm not even in. Okay. So if that is included, then we will attach our element, and then we return our results. So let me do something really quick. Let's say, let's create our cities, and then what we'll do is we'll say that our new list equals cities, and then we'll use our filter. Let's use the closure, trailing closure syntax, and let's just say if it contains, I don't know, letter V, and let's print our new list, and we get an array of just Denver. Alright, this next one is a little trickier. Alright, so let's go ahead and work with our method here. It's going to be generic over result. Alright, which is going to take initial result, which is of type result, and then it's going to take a next partial result, which is result element, which returns us a result. And I'll go over this code in a little bit. Let's just make a temporary container, singular this time, and we're going to have it equal to the initial result. Then we're going to iterate over each element, and we're going to say our result equals the next partial result, which takes in two parameters, the first one being the result. So this is going to be our starting point, and then this is going to be our element, and then we can return our result. And let's test this bad boy out. Let's say answer equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're going to reduce. That's their reduce. Let's use our custom reduce. It's really the same thing. We're going to start at 0, and let's say x and y, which is the first and second parameter, which is this here. X is the result. So the result, remember, is first going to be this initial result. So initial result here is going to be 0, right? And then we say, then we iterate over everything, and we say, hey, let result equal, we're about to pass in now. So we're going to say x plus y. So now the result is going to equal 0 plus 1, because that is the current result. That is the current result. Then once we say 0 plus 1, we're going to return that, so it's going to be 1. And then we're going to say 1 plus the next operation, So let's see, 55. I'm just going to take Scode's word on that and think that it's 55. Alright guys, thanks for joining today's video. We went over a lot, and to see if you really understand it, just hit the link in the section of this YouTube page, and you should get a download automatically, and you can open that up. The 2 pages is 2 pages. One is the challenge, and the other one is the answer. Just give it your best shot before you look at the challenge, or you can mix it. So if you are struggling on one particular section, just look over and go from there. But alright guys, if you like this video, just like and subscribe, and until the next one.